I got a little excited, so I'm sorry about that. I thought I seen her. All right. The abomination of the Edomites, right? So time is only relative or reflection of the change that's happening. So when the Most High says that or points to a frame of time, when the Most High points to a frame of time, your brain then starts to look for the sense of what has changed to point to the time frame. I hope everybody understood me and I didn't confuse them. It's important for us to understand Yah's timing and what mysteries are being revealed within that time. The Most High's prophetic timing that we are living in, the cause, and what pushes the believer in a way to look forward to our redemption. So when we talk about Yah's timing, we look for things to change in order to point to what time we are living in. Prophetically, we look for it. We say, okay, he said this would happen at this particular time. So then we would know just about what time it is, right? So when the Most High says in the Bible that the iniquity of the Amorites will be fulfilled or it will have its end, we look for that. Well, what is the iniquity? One, what is the iniquity of the Amorites? And has it been fulfilled, or when will it be fulfilled? Yah's timing. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3:1. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1.
Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the heaven.
So to everything there's a season and there is a time. There is a time to every purpose under the heaven. So when Most High said something, he doesn't just say something off the top and doesn't mean it. He has a reason for saying it. So that makes it relative. When he says it, now it becomes relative. Now the time frame that I'm looking for is relative for a certain purpose. Let's get Genesis. So everything is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Genesis 15, let's go through the prophecy. Genesis 15, and we're going to start at verse 13. Let's break this prophecy down. Let's break it down.
Genesis 15:13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Stop. Let's go to Galatians now. We got to break this down. Shall afflict them 400 years. Let's go to Galatians. What is going on here? Because Paul picks it up and he started talking about the time frame in which something has happened. Galatians 3:17.
Galatians 3, verse 17. And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of Yah in Yahushua, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, that it should make the promise of none effect.
So we see in Genesis, it says we shall be afflicted 400 years. In Galatians, we see it says 430 years. So what's going on here? We know that within that 430 years, we know within the 30 years, within the same generation. A generation in the Bible was 40, 70, 100 years. Is considered a generation. So that 430 years is within that generation. So it was 430 years between Abraham, by the time he got the promise, and between Moses when he received the law. That was a 430-year time span. The same generation that came out in year 400, at the year 400, that will be the same generation that would receive the law at 430. Hope everybody understood me. The same generation at year 400 is the same generation that will receive the law at year 430. Same generation, third within that 30-year time span. Now let's get Exodus 20 and 40. Exodus 20, verse 40. I think I want 40 and 41, tell you the truth.
You say 20? What?
I'm sorry, Exodus 12. I meant Exodus 12. Chapter 12, verses 40 and 41.
Exodus 12, 40 and 41. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years. What, can I be heard?
You can be heard. You can be
At
heard.
the end of the 430 years, even the self-same day it came to pass that all the hosts of the Most High went out from the land of Egypt.
They went out from the land. So it was 430 years from when Abraham received the prophecy and the prophetic narrative ran from the time that he received it. It ran 430 years until Moses received the law. And that generation at that 400 year, is that 400 year is the same generation that will receive the law. Now, let's go back to Genesis. Genesis 15, verse 14.
You don't want me to get to that other verse real quick?
Oh, you didn't finish that verse out?
No, I didn't do 42.
Read 42.
It is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Most High to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations.
Oh, in their generations. Con, thank you for that. Let's go back to Genesis 15 and 14.
Genesis 15, verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
So this judgment on that nation, the nation that he is judged, will be a nation that is in a collapse mode. It is collapsing. So the judgment shows us. Everybody mute yourself. I was hearing the reverb. That's why I said that. So the judgment shows us similarities in what will happen in physical Egypt that will happen in spiritual Egypt. The scriptures always have a dual meaning. The scriptures have a dual meaning behind them. Let's get Job 11 and 6 right quick. Let's get Job 11 and 6.
Job 11, verse 6. And that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that Yah exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserves.
So the wisdom that the Most High shows us through his prophetic word are dark sayings, and sometimes they are doubled. They have a dual meaning behind what is being said. Let's go back to Genesis 15 and 14 again. Let's read it one more time.
Genesis 15 and 14. And also the nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
So the nation that we serve being that the scripture gives us a dual meaning, a physical Egypt and a spiritual Egypt. The nation that we serve, he's going to judge. But there's a particular judgment I'm trying to get to. There's a particular judgment that I want us to home in on. Let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalm 78. Let's go to Psalm 78. We're going to pick it up at verse 1. We're going to read quite a bit of this, but I want to go to verse like 1 through 8 and then drop down to like 44 or something like that.
Mashiach of Asaph, give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to hear the words of my mouth.
Come on.
I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old.
So remember, we just went to Job and it said that the scripture gives us a double meaning. The scripture gives us a dual meaning. So here you hear the prophet is saying, I open up my mouth in a parable and I will utter dark sayings of old. Read on.
Which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us.
Mm-hmm.
We would not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of the Most High, and his strength and his wonderful work that he hath done.
So the prophet is saying, I'm not talking to this generation. I'm talking to the generation to come, another generation. That's who I'm speaking to right now. Read on.
For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children.
Come on.
That the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children. That they might set their hope in Yah and not forget the works of Yah, but keep his commandments.
Read on.
And might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with Yah.
And whose spirit was not steadfast with Yah. So he's not talking about the previous generation. He's not talking about the present generation. He's talking about a generation to come. A generation to come. And the Israelites within that nation will begin to spoil those who are of the generation to come. I'm laying a lot of groundwork here, so don't worry. I'm getting a lot of groundwork got to be laid for you to understand what I want to bring, what I want to extrapolate from the scriptures. Let's go to Exodus 12 and 35. I want verses 35 and 36.
Exodus 12, 35 and 36. And the children of Israel did according to the work of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Most High gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians.
And they spoiled the Egyptians. So in verse 35, when it says it borrowed, in verse 36, it says they spoiled. Do you think they gave it back? There was no get backs. He said, hey, can you let me borrow that $100,000 right there? They didn't never get that back. Can I get that? Can I get that $1 million out you right there? Yeah, I want to borrow that. They never got it back. They spoiled them. Let's read it again. Verse 35. See, what I want to do today, I want to try to increase your faith on something. Let's go to 35 right quick. Go ahead, 35, 36.
Exodus 12, 35 and 36. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they brought of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
They got jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and raiment. They got everything they needed from their enemy. They got everything they needed from their enemy. Verse 36.
And the Most High gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians.
So this is why they was able to do it. The Egyptians don't know why they was doing it. It was like, we just want to give you something. And yeah, here you go. You can have this. The Most High just put it on their spirit. I want to just give you 200 acres. I don't know why. I just want to give it to you. I want to give you for some reason. I just want to, it just seemed like I like what you're doing over there. I want to give you $500,000. I don't know why I want to do it. Here you go. I want to give it to you for some reason. Come on.
And the Most High gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. So they lent unto them such things as they required.
As they what?
So that they lent unto them such things as they required.
They needed. They required it. They needed that. They needed that. They needed that. Such thing as they required. Come on.
And they spoiled the Egyptians.
And they spoiled the Egyptians, meaning they took everything. There was a great transference of wealth from one hand to the other. And they were spoiled. Took. They never got that back. They never got it back. They spoiled them. They took all of their wealth and it became their wealth. They took all of their wealth and that became theirs now. They gave it to us. They don't know why they gave it to us. I want to let you in on a little secret. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. The same way it happened then is the same way it's going to happen again. Drop down to verse, let's go back to Psalms, rather. Let's go back to Psalm 78, and we're going to go to verse 44.
Psalm 78, verse 44. And had turned their rivers into blood, and their floods that they could not drink. This what you want?
Read on. We're going to go down to 55.
He sent diverse sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs which destroyed them. He gave also their increase unto the caterpillar, and their labor unto the locusts. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. He gave up their cattle also to hail, and their flocks to hot thunderbolts. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them. He made a way to his anger. He spared not their soul from death, but gave their life over to pestilence. And smote all the firstborn of Egypt, in Egypt, the chief of their strength, and the tabernacles of Ham, but made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guided them into the wilderness like a flock. And he led them on safely, so that they feared not, but the sea overwhelmed their enemies.
Come on.
He brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to this mountain, which his right hand had purchased.
Come on.
He cast out the heathen also before them and divided them in inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents.
And made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tent. They got spoiled. They got wickedness. They got torn down. They got destruction. They got corruption. And he made us wealthy, safe, and established. Let's go to Genesis, back to Genesis 13. Genesis 13, verse 15.
Genesis 13 and 15. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth.
Hold
So that
on. No, that's not what I want. What was we at? Was we at 15? Was we at Genesis 15 or finished Genesis 13?
have we got to it yet?
No, I want Genesis I want Genesis 15 and 15. I didn't mean to say 13. Because we was doing the prophecy in 15.
Okay, so 15 and
15 and 15, yeah.
15 and 15. Genesis 15, verse 15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age.
So we see that the Most High is talking about captivity. He's talking about captivity in one hand at the beginning of the prophecy. Let me go back to it. Hold that right there, Deacon Kiefer. Let me go back to it. But 14, he said, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. So he went from that to verse 15. And what did it say in verse 15?
And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt be buried in a good old age.
So the prophecy has just been broken up into two parts. The prophecy has now just been broken up into two parts. He went from saying that about being in captivity for 400 years to now saying, but you gonna die, Abraham. You're gonna go to your father's good old age. You're gonna have peace in your life at the end of your life, and you're gonna go to sleep with your fathers in a good old right age, be buried with your people. You're gonna be straight. Now he comes back to another prophecy, to another part of the prophecy in verse 16. In verse 16, he comes back to another part of the prophecy. A lot of people take this particular prophecy and they run it all together. But this is different prophecies. These are different prophetic utterances, what he's saying. And he broke it here in 15. When he said you, after he said what he said in 13 and 14, he said, but you, Abraham, you're going to die at good old age. You're going to be good. Sleep with your fathers. Bam. Then he comes back to something else in 16. So let's get to 16 because this is broken up and this prophecy is broken up in two parts. Let's get verse 16 now.
And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation, they shall come here again. For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
So now he says, but in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again, meaning that after that 430 years, your descendants are going to come back to this land here where you are, where you're going to be buried at a good old age. They're going to come right here where you at. And then he says something interesting. After he says they come here again, he says, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Now, we've covered all of that we went through to get to this point. The iniquity of the Amorites are not yet full. So this points us to a time frame. Who are the Amorites? And when are their iniquity? And what is their iniquity? And when will it end? So it sets us up a time stamp of what we should be looking for. Let's get Acts 7. We're going to start at verse 1.
Acts 7:1. They said the high priest, are these things so? Then said the high priest, are these things so?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, men, brethren, and fathers, hearken. The Most High of glory appeared unto our father Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia, before he dwelt in Charan,
Mm-hmm.
and said unto him, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I shall show thee.
Now, Cherith is a city located in northern Mesopotamia on the Bilka River, a branch off of the Euphrates, to which Abraham's father Terah immigrated with his family. They moved up there, and that's his father's land was up there, and Abraham eventually was living up in those regions as well. Verse 4.
Then came he out of the land of the Chaldeans and dwelt in Charan, and from thence, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land wherein ye now dwell.
Come on.
And he gave him none inheritance in it, no, not so much as to set his foot on. Yet he promised that he would give it to him for a possession, and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child.
Read on.
And Yah spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage, and entreat them evil 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said Yah. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place.
So Stephanos is saying the place in which I am standing now. Stephanos is saying the place in which I am standing now is the place which was promised to Abraham by Yah. Now, when we lived in that place, we lived there prior to 70 AD. This part of the prophecy was fulfilled. Let me say it again. When we lived in that place, because remember, the Most High promised Abraham that your seed will come after the fourth generation, and they would come back here to where you are in this place. The place, when we just proved in Acts, this place that he's talking about is the land of Canaan, which is now called Israel. That part of the prophecy was fulfilled. But the Amorites aren't finished yet. The Amorites aren't finished yet. That part of the prophecy was not fulfilled. Even in 70 AD, that part of the prophecy was not filled yet, or not complete yet. Yah will repeat the process because this is some of his personality traits. You know, he is the Most High, and he changes not, right? Right? So just as he commanded us, because of the iniquity of something that he didn't want in the earth, he asked the children of Israel to wipe them out, to take that out of my sight. So he would give the command, hey, don't let none of them live. Take them all out because of their abomination, because of their iniquity. I want that out of my face. This is how Yah is. Take them out of here, right? Take them out. Sometimes we did it, sometimes we did not. The iniquity of the Amorites in 70 AD wasn't complete as of yet, although the first part of the prophecy was. The second part of the prophecy was not. It is the same old iniquity with the same old judgment. Let me show you what I'm saying. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12. I'm going to show you what that iniquity is, and I'm going to show you who the Amorites are. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verses 2 through 5.
Wisdom of Solomon 12, 2 through 5. Therefore chasteneth thou them by little, and little that offends, and warn them by putting them in remembrance wherein they have offended.
Come on.
And leave their wickedness, they may believe on thee, O master.
Watch this. Come on.
For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land.
So stop. When he said wipe them out, he meant wipe them out of the land, take them, kill them all off because of their abomination. What they were doing, I don't like what they're doing, the Most High is saying, and they need to go. They have a certain iniquity that the Most High finds abominable. He want them gone. Come on. He will use us. He will use us, our forefathers, and to kill off those old inhabitants of the Holy Land. Come on.
Whom thou hated for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices.
Let's read that part again.
Whom thou.
You went out. You went out and then you muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you hear?
No, we didn't hear you read.
Was I heard?
No.
Okay.
Verse 4.
Whom thou hated for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices.
And odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices. Read.
And also those merciless murderers of children. And
read that again. Read that. Now we know what the odious. Now we know what the odious works of witchcraft are and wicked sacrifices. Now we know what those odious works of witchcraft is, and we know what those wicked sacrifices are. Verse 5. What are they? Come on.
And also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh and the feast of blood.
So this is what those odious works of witchcraft is. How do we know that this is the abomination of the Amorites? We're going to get to it. Those odious works of witchcraft, those wicked sacrifices are the merciless murderers of children. The devourers of man's flesh are those that are cannibalistic, eating people and eating children, sacrificing them to gods and drinking their blood. So who are the Amorites? Who are the Amorites? Let's go, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Genesis. Because folks don't believe today that you have people doing this. Oh, yeah. This is happening all along the world. That's all around the world. This is happening. Let's go to Genesis 10 and 15. And we want verses 15 and 16.
Genesis 10, verses 15 and 16. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite.
And so the Amorite is a descendant of Canaan. The Amorite is a descendant of Canaan. So the beginning of the Amorite iniquity and why the Most High has ordered his destruction, we can find in Numbers, the 21st chapter, and we want to go there. Let's go to Numbers 21. Let's go to Numbers 21. We're going to start at verse 21. We're going to read down to verse 25.
Numbers 21 through 25. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be past thy borders. And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his borders. But Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness, and he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword and possessed his land from Ammon unto Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all the villages thereof.
So we smoked them, mean we killed them, and we took the cities, but we did not kill them all off. We didn't kill them all off. I mean, they lived within our region. They lived around about us. So this wasn't the only sin of the Amorites. We have to find out what the Amorites did and why the Most High said that they are an abomination to him. We have to see exactly what they did. Let's go to Deuteronomy to find out what they did. Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. We're going to go to verse 16 through 18.
Deuteronomy 20, 16 through 18. But of the cities of these people, which the Most High Yah doth give thee for an inheritance.
So we did take their cities over. We read that in Numbers. I gave you the history of it. Now let's find out what happened in Deuteronomy. Read on.
Thou shalt save alive nothing that breathes.
Well, we did. He said, don't save none of them alive, but we did. We did save them alive. They were still running around there. He said, don't save none of these people alive. He said, when you go into that land, kill them all off because they are an abomination. They in all kind of witchcraft. They are sacrificing their children, odious works of witchcraft. They are child murderers, eaters of flesh and drinking blood. This was the Most High said, this is why they're an abomination. Watch what we didn't do, though. We didn't kill them all off. Come on.
But thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites and the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Most High Yah have commanded thee.
But what happened? Come on.
That they teach you not to do after all their abominations.
They did teach us to do their abominations, which was child sacrifice, because the Israelites did it too. They taught us that. Read on.
To do after all their abominations, which they have done unto their gods.
Mm-hmm. Was that it? Oh, you muted again for some reason. You went on mute. Verse 18. Did Keith?
I don't know why I keep muting.
Yeah.
Now you're muted.
No, my mic is on.
I hear you now.
Okay, yeah. Verse 18 is where you muted. You reading too much truth. They don't want nobody to get, they don't want the word to get out. We know what they're doing.
I'm like, I was on a mission.
We exposing the devil right now. He don't want me to get all the way through this.
Right.
Verse 18.
That they teach you not to do after all their abominations, which they have done unto their gods. So should you sin against your power, Yah.
Come on. So what is the abominable sin? Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 12:3 one more time. Because I want to beat this into your brain so you can understand the abominable sin or the abomination of the Amorites, what they are doing, specifically what they're doing. We're gonna get specific. Wisdom of Solomon 12:3. We read it already. I want to read it again though.
12 verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of the Holy Land, whom thou hated for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh, and the feasts of blood.
And the feast of blood, these drinkers of blood, these vampires, these drinkers of blood, they're doing that today. These eaters of flesh, of man's flesh, they're doing that today. These merciless murderers of children, they're doing that today in plain sight. They're doing that. These are the wicked witchcrafts, odious works of witchcraft, and the wicked sacrifices that have been done by the Amorites, because the works of the Amorites have not yet been filled. When it comes to fruition, meaning it ends, brothers and sisters. The wickedness of the Amorites have not been yet full. The Most High is saying Yahushua is going to return after it is done. It's filled. I can't take this no more. I can't take this wickedness constantly coming up before me, the things that they are doing. It's not yet been full yet, but when it is full, that is the end. Let's get Leviticus 20. Let's get Leviticus 20 and start at verse 1. Because these things are still going on. I don't want y'all to be remiss about this. All this is just in the Bible. That's not happening. No. We're going to see today. It's still happening. Leviticus 20, start at verse 1. 1 through 5.
It did it again. And the Most High spoke unto Moses, saying, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given of his seed unto Molech, to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do anyways hide their eyes from the man when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people.
So this is the abomination. Child sacrifice. When it says your seed, it's talking about your children. Give your seed to Molech, give yourself or give your children over to other gods, to sacrifice your child to other gods. Sacrificing the demons is clearly abomination. And it led to other societal abominations throughout the land of Canaan, such as child sacrifice, right? So the Most High changes not. What's happening here, what was happening then is happening now. The Amorites had to go out of the promised land. They had to be killed out of the promised land. It's going to happen again. But first, let's get an example of how we got rid of the Amorites out of our land. Like I said, a remnant of them, not all of them, but most of them. We got rid of most of them, and a remnant of them was still in the land. Let's go to Joshua. Joshua 10. We're going to skip through this, Deacon Kiefer. We're going to skip through it. So we're going to go verse 1, verse 5, verse 11, verse 15, verse 22.
You know I'm not gonna remember, but,
I'll say the verses again. So we're going to go give me verse 1 and verse 5.
okay. Joshua 10 and 1. Now it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, and he had done to Jericho and her king, so he had done to Ai. Is that Ai?
Yeah.
And her king.
I or AI, ain't that crazy?
Right.
What's AI today?
Right. And her
Come
king,
on.
and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them.
Yeah, that's verse 1. Drop down to verse 5.
Therefore, the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king
The
of
what?
Jerusalem,
The 5 kings of who?
of the Amorites,
Come on.
the kings of Jerusalem, the kings of Hebron, the kings of Jarmuth, the kings of Lachish, the kings of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and all their hosts, and encamped before Gibeon and made war against it.
The verse drop down to verse 11.
Joshua 10 and 11. And it came to pass as they fled from before Israel and were in the going down to Betharon, that the Most High cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Ezekah, and they died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword.
Read it again, verse 11, please. I love this part. Read it again.
And it came to pass as they fled from before Israel and were in the going down of Betharon, that the Most High cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Ezekah, and they died.
So the Most High got into the fight too. The children of Israel was fighting. He said, I told you to wipe them all out. The Most High got into the fight too. He started throwing great stones from the sky. He was like, I'm fighting too. Right with the children of Israel. Come on.
They were more which died from hailstones than that whom the children of Israel slew with the sword.
So the Most High killed more of them than we did. He threw stones from heaven, and he killed more of them than we did. Drop down to verse 15.
And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, unto the camp to Gilgal.
Was that it?
That's it.
Go to verse 20.
And it came to pass when Joshua and the children of Israel had made an end of slaying them with a very great slaughter, till they were consumed, that the rest which remained of them entered into fenced cities.
So you see there, I told you it was a remnant of them still left. The rest which remained of them, because we didn't kill them all, they entered into the place of safety, fenced cities. They ran. We ran them off, but they were still scattered about. A remnant of them was still scattered about in our land. Now. So just like the Canaanites were in our land, the Edomites are in our land. And the Edomites have control over the world. So the majority of the Edomites will have to go before we take the kingdom, just like the majority of the Amorites had to go when we took the land. There are similarities. Remember I said that? There are similarities in the physical taking of the land of the Amorites and the spiritual manifestation of taking the kingdom of Esau. It's very, very close similarities. Watch this. Let's go to 1 Corinthians now. 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. We want 20 and 21.
1
20 and
Corinthians 10, 20 and 21. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to Yah.
So read verse 20 again.
But I say that the things that the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to Yah.
And not to Yah. So Paul is reiterating something here. Something is going on. The things that the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, they sacrifice to demons, and not to Yah. Just like the Ammonites, the iniquity of the Amorites sacrifice to devils, sacrifice to demons, and not to Yah. Verse 21.
And I would not, oh no, that's not all. And I would not that they should have fellowship with devils.
And I would not that they have fellowship with devils. Verse 21.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Most High and the cup of devils.
Come on.
You cannot be partakers of the Most High's table.
Come on.
And of the table of devils. And
the table of devils is either one of the other. So these Edomites are in the same spirit as those Amorites. You see here the same abomination. Watch this. I'm going to go to missing children's statistics. Now, you can find these statistics on the World Reports and Statistics of Exploited Children. I'm going to run through them real quick. Exploited children. So all over the world, it gives statistically how many children are missing in each country. Can I be heard?
yes.
Okay, all right. So this is in the year of 2021. More than 30,000 missing person reports in Australia related to children is under age 18. In Canada, there were 30,840 missing children in 2022. In 2021, in France, there was 43,870 reports of missing children were made by the police. In Germany, there were 83,900 children reported missing. In India, there's an estimated 59,262 children that were reported missing. In Italy, there were a total of 12,117 missing minors, in which 3,324 were Italians and 8,793 were foreigners. In Lithuania, this is in Europe, in Portugal. This is, in Europe. In Portugal, there were 1,938 children reported missing. In Russia, there's 50,000 children reported missing. In South Korea, there's 26,416 reports of children missing. In Spain, it's an estimated 1,978 children missing. In the United Kingdom, there's 46,870 children reported missing. 137,043 incidents in the year 2022. Let's see. In the United States, 359,000 94 reports of missing children in the United States from the Bureau of Investigation's 2022. The Edomite nations today is doing the same abomination as the Amorite nation, and far much more than I would say than an Amorite nation had a chance to do. Someone is taking these children. Someone is sacrificing these children. There's nothing new under the sun, brothers and sisters. These are millions of children that's coming up missing. What do you all think is happening to them? We think is going on. The iniquity of the Amorite has not yet been full. The odious works of sacrifice are being done still this day. And some of the stuff is being done right in your face. We pull up this article. Now, this ain't an article from some blog or something like that. This is CNN. CNN reports, and you can look this up yourself. That's why I say everything that I read, I give you the name of it first. Just like I gave you the World Child Statistic Report, you can go and look that up yourself. You can also look this up. The House passes Born Alive abortion bill. It's from CNN. We read just a little snippet of this stuff right here. What's going on? You can go and look that up. The Born Alive bill. The House passed it. They passed the bill. It was waiting for the Senate to pass it. House Republicans are spotlighting the issue of abortion as they roll out their legislative agenda in the new Congress, a move that comes after the Supreme Court highly consequential decision last summer to overturn the landmark 1993 Roe v. Wade ruling. The GOP-led House voted on Wednesday to pass a bill that required healthcare providers to preserve the life of an infant in a rare case that the baby is born alive during and after an attempt of abortion. The bill is not expected to take the Democratic-controlled Senate. The bill is not expected to be taken up in the Democratic-controlled Senate, but passed in the House serves as a messaging opportunity for the new Republican majority. The vote was 220 to 210. Under the bill, health providers who failed to comply with the requirements for care could face fines or up to 5 years in prison. The bill would not impose penalties on the mother and would grant the mother protection from any kind of prosecution. Opponents have urged that such measures restrict abortion access by threatening healthcare providers. It is already considered homicide in the U.S. to intentionally kill an infant that is born alive. The decision by the new Republican majority to hold the vote comes after Democrats worked to make abortion a front and center issue during the midterm elections, following Roe's reversal. Republicans succeeded to taking back control of the House in the midterms, but as a much anticipated red wave failed to materialize, leading to questions. The finger pointing with the GOP over exactly factors played at the key role of the outcome. The measure the House voted on, called the Baby Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. Let me read it again. The measure the House voted on, called the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act, was introduced on Monday by Republican Representative Ann Wagner of Missouri. NARAL Pro-Choice America released a statement on Tuesday criticizing the bill, along with several others. These bills make it plain House Republicans are patently rejecting the will of the overwhelming majority of Americans who voted to support legal abortion in November. The The organization's president, Minnie Tumaraju, said, meanwhile, our Democratic reproductive freedom champions in the House are ready and willing to fight to restore and expand access to abortion, and we thank them for that. So if you get down into this bill, they having a protection. You need protection because they want to kill the baby after, not the regular abortion while it's inside the womb. When the baby come out, you can't be charged with murder. That's what this bill is about. The baby is alive. You put the baby to death after it's born. Then you go ahead and put it to death. So this bill here is protecting the physicians and protecting the mother. Yeah, go ahead and put my baby to, yeah, I don't want it. I don't want that. Go ahead and kill it.
Are you saying that they're literally, oh, never mind.
No, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
No, we got it.
Okay.
So these babies are being born and put to death. That's what the bill proposes.
Yes. They are being born, then put to death.
Wow. That's the alternative to the abortion.
The abortion is happening on the outside.
Right.
Yeah. Not on the inside. That's why they put the bill there, so the doctors won't go to prison and the mother won't go to prison.
Wow. But these are the same people that said life begins at conception, right?
No, these are the Democrats putting forth that bill.
That's a sick bill. Sick bill.
So it passed in the House. It passed in the House. Well, so this was it's the Republicans that put forth this bill because it passed in the Republican-led House. I'm sorry. If I said that wrong, I apologize. It's a Republican-led House. So it passed in the House. The Democrats is leading the Senate. So it didn't get through to the Senate yet, or it didn't come up on the Senate floor to vote yet. And you can look this bill up. It's called the Born Alive Abortion Bill. So they put these children to death after they're born. The iniquity of the Amorites are not yet full. It's not yet full. So you don't actually have the actual nation of the Amorites. You have the spirit of that nation is still alive. And the Edomites are doing it now. Y'all just heard me read how many children are missing. And that's on a yearly basis. That's on a yearly basis. That's mind-blowing how many children are missing. There should be such an outcry behind all these children that are missing. Something to make you go, why ain't nobody talking about this? Why ain't nobody saying that? Why isn't it a larger outcry about these missing children? What is going on here? You're talking about hundreds of thousands of children that are missing. Let's get Genesis 15 and 16 again.
Genesis 15 and 16. But in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again, for the iniquities of the Amorites is not yet full.
Not yet full. Wisdom of Solomon. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 21.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 21.
Mm-hmm.
And this was an occasion to deceive the world, for men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name.
Mm-hmm. Let's read on. Let's read on. We're going to read on down to 26.
Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of Yah, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but
Mm-hmm.
either one slew another traitorously, or grieved him by adultery.
So this is talking about transgenderism. This is talking about transgender. Let's read it again. Let's read it again in verse 24, because all of this go hand in hand. All of this wickedness go hand in hand. So now you can identify who the child murderers are. You can identify who's ever leading the world in transgenderism and homosexuality and defaming of marriage. Whoever's doing that is the same people that's doing this. Same people. Let's go back to it and verse 23.
23 or 24.
23, verse 23.
For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices,
The same people who slew the children in sacrifices, the same people, come on.
but used secret ceremonies,
These secret ceremonies are these secret societies and these people that are putting these children to death through the worship of the devil and the sacrificing of their blood and the drinking of their blood. Come on.
or made revelings of strange rites.
Of strange rites. And it's going to tell you who the people are. Verse 24.
They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled.
So they're pushing these laws. There's nothing is sacred. You're not a man, you're a woman. You're not a woman, you're a man. A man can marry a man, a woman can marry a woman. Hell, you could be a they. You could be a them. It's all good. So whoever's doing this is the same people who are sacrificing children. The ones that are doing this are the same people. I want to put, that's why I keep saying it, because I want you to put it in your mind and don't forget it. The same people that's pushing this agenda is the same people who are sacrificing children. Same people. Esau is him. Is him. The iniquity of the Amorites is the same iniquity that Esau's involved in right now. And that's why it says the iniquity of the Amorites are not yet fulfilled, because the Amorites did it and now Esau is doing it. Where do we leave off at? Verse 24?
Yes, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously, or grieved him by adultery.
Come on.
So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good terms, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanness.
The shameless uncleanness. Edom is involved in the same iniquity as the Amorites. Same abomination. We're almost done here. Let's get Amos. Let's get Amos. What is this abomination? Edom. We're talking about you, buddy.
Was that Wisdom of Solomon 12?
That was Wisdom of Solomon 14, and we read 21 through 26.
Oh,
that's what we just read, right? That's what we just read.
Right.
Now we're going to Amos 1 and 11.
Amos 1, verse 11. Thus saith the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I would not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity,
2,
and his anger did tear perpetually,
3.
and he kept his wrath forever.
So these are the 4 transgressions. The Most High said, I'm not going to forgive Esau for 3 transgressions and for 4, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, because he cast off all pity. That's 2. His anger did tear perpetually, 3, and he kept his wrath forever, 4. Verse 12.
But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra.
So Teman is the grandson of Esau, and Basra is the headquarters of Esau. If you can find that in Genesis 36, verses 10 through 11, I won't go through it, but just for your own reference, Genesis 36, 10 through 11, you can find Teman, the grandson of Esau, and Basra, Isaiah 63, and Isaiah 63, like verse 3 or something like that. That is Esau's headquarters. So Esau, so it says here, we're talking about, so I will set a fire upon Teman, I will set a fire on Esau, and which I shall devour in the places of Basra. Basra is his capital. So the headquarters of Esau is going to be devoured. That's what the scripture is saying. Verse 13.
Thus saith the Most High, for 3 transgressions of the children of Ammon, and for
Come
4,
on.
not turn away the punishment thereof.
Come on.
Because he ripped up the woman with the child of Gilead,
Come on.
that they might enlarge their border.
So Amorites are the same people. Amorites are the same people. In Esau, he goes right from Esau to talking about Ammon, and talking about for the 3 transgressions of Ammon, and for 4, same as Esau, because they're doing the exact same work. They're doing the exact same thing. I will not turn away the punishment. This is why he says Ammon, therefore, because he have ripped up the woman with child of Gilead, that they might enlarge their border. Meaning the same way Esau took people off their land, this is what the spirit of Ammon did, and killed the children. So let me say something. Our babies is under attack. Let me say this to you. Those that are in the music industry, the movie business, and entertainment, that draw our children away from the light of the Most High. Now, I ain't talking about Israelite music. I ain't talking about brothers and sisters in the entertainment industry that love Yah, that wouldn't do anything like this. I'm talking about those that do. These are some of the same people that you see giving praise and glory and honor when they get awards. What they say? Giving honor. Oh, was it for the Lord Jesus Christ, for the Savior of my soul? They do that every award ceremony, and some of the biggest devils and some of the biggest hell on earth. I shot him in the head. Woo, he did. They promote all that kind of stuff, and drugs in the neighborhood, filthiness and garbage, all in our neighborhoods. But as soon as they get an award, what they say? Giving honor to the Lord Jesus Christ. Let's get Isaiah. We're almost finished. Let's get Isaiah right quick. Let's get Isaiah 8 and 18.
Isaiah 8, verse 18. Behold, I and the children whom the Most High have given me are for signs and for wonders in Israel from the Most High of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion.
Watch this.
And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits.
Seek unto them that have, this is what they say. Seek unto them that have familiar spirits. Come on.
and unto wizards that peep,
and wizards that peep,
and that mutter,
uh-huh,
should not a people seek unto their God
come on,
for the living to the dead?
for the living to the dead. So that peeping and that muttering of wizards refers to the chirping noise or whispered chants of a medium to contact the dead. That's the definition of peeping and muttering. Let's see what the definition is of mumble rap. Mumble rap is a type where the lyrics are mumbled together in an incoherent manner. But see, you don't know what the hell they're saying. It's peeping and muttering. We don't know what they're saying, brothers. So I want y'all to understand. Yeah, it's just that heavy and it's just that deep. This is that peeping and that muttering. The same as glossia. Glossia is the speaking of tongues, the utterance of approximating words that can't be understood during the state of some type of experience. It's the same thing as mumble rap. I don't know what they saying. I don't know what you saying. It's peeping and muttering. Peeping and muttering to put you in some type of induced state of mind. To put you in a trance. Speaking in tongues put people in a trance. Mumble rap put you in a trance too. Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Peeping and muttering of wizards. The chanting of familiar spirits. Let's go to Isaiah again. Isaiah 8. I think we dropped off at 19. This is the last one, Isaiah 8 and 20.
Isaiah 8 and 20.
20 through 22.
Isaiah 8, 20 through 22. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
If they speak not according to this word, there is no light into them. I don't care who's doing it. If they don't speak according to this word, there is no light in them. So all of your mumble, millie mouth, Kodak, Black, who else is a millie mouth? Whoever you is. What's that one that got all them babies from everybody? Future. Fortune or Future. Him. The one to have babies and just walk away from everybody. Him. Seducing your children into a state of frenzy by peeping and muttering. Wizards sacrificing your babies. Where was we at?
21.
All right.
And they shall pass through it, hardly bestead and hungry. And it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves and curse their king and their power and look upward.
Mm-hmm.
And they look unto the earth and behold trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven to darkness.
So these mumble rappers, these preachers that speak glossalia, they're going to be troubled in darkness and dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven into darkness. All praises to the Most High. We're going to leave it right there. Hope your understanding has been open